Hey everybody, it's Robert the Asian Film Junkie back. It's another week, so it's another review, and this time we're doing something the same as always. We're doing another Kenshin review. This time it's the first OVA, Trust and Betrayal. Originally this was 4 separate 30-minute long episodes of the OVAs, and they were edited and made into one 2-hour-long film. And this is what it's part of. It's part of the Samurai X Complete Collection. I bought this 5 years ago. It's probably even longer than that now. Anyway, I paid $120 for it when I got it, and it contains Trust and Betrayal, Reflection, Samurai X the motion picture, which I have not watched but will, and I will do a little mini review probably, because from what I understand it's only just like a little long episode. But it also contains Trust and Betrayal the director's cut and Reflection the director's cut. So it's got 5 discs, 5 films, and I am reviewing the director's cut. I have never seen the non-director's cuts versions, and yeah, so that's what we're doing. I would have, I try to post these on Wednesday, and it didn't happen because work has been insane this week, and I've just been super tired. I'm still tired, but I want to get this out for y'all. I'm nowhere near as tired as I was yesterday, which is weird considering I worked out an 11-hour shift today, but anyway, I pretty much got home last night and passed out, so yeah, no video was uploaded yesterday. But here it is. I'm doing it now, and I'll upload it as soon as I edit it. Hopefully it's going to be tonight, Thursday, but it might be tomorrow. We'll see how editing goes. But anyway, let's move on to the actual review. The internal timeline that this film takes place in is from 1855, and that is right after Shinta Himura has been sold into slavery by his parents. He's on the way to wherever he's going, and he and his fellow slaves get attacked by bandits, and everyone's killed. And right as this man is about to kill Shinta, he is slaughtered by Hikosujiro, and he just leaves. He leaves Shinta there, and just moves on. He's kind of got this monologue about how life is terrible now and whatnot, and he eventually makes his way back, and he finds that this kid has buried everyone. He's buried the slavers, he's buried the bandits, because as he says, once they're dead, they're just bodies. And I think there's something deep there. We're human. We're all human. Everything. Our life. We're all different, but we all bleed. And when we die, they're gonna bury us the same. Rich, poor, gay, straight, black, white. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we're all humans, and we need to treat each other with respect. And I realize I got a little bit churchy, but yeah, whatever. I feel like with everything in the news that it's probably a good thing to be a little churchy. Be kind, man. Just be good to each other. It's not hard. You don't need God to be a good person, and just don't be an asshole. Anyway, back to the review. I'm digressing, but we'll get back. We're going back right now. So that goes after he returns. Hikosujiro is like, "Hey, I'm gonna train you. What's your name?" And the kid's like, "Shinta," and he's like, "Nope, that's too soft of a name for a swordsman. Your name's going to be Kenshin." And if you didn't realize that Shinta was Kenshin, I kind of laid it on pretty thick that that's who it was. But B, if you didn't know that Kenshin's real name was Shinta, then now you know. And knowing's half the battle. G.I. Joe! Who did that? Anyway, so it goes from 1855 all the way to 1868, and that's when Kenshin becomes a Rurouni, or a wanderer, and that's where it ends, and the main series picks up. Well, anyway, so the overall plot is basically, it's just Kenshin's life from the time that he was picked up by Hiko Sejiro and is trained in Hiten Mitsurugi, all the way to when he becomes a Rurouni, becomes a wanderer. And that whole span basically takes place within one, for the purposes of this film, takes place within one specific period of time, and that's based around the Kinmon incident. And it's something that I'll talk about later. I got a little surprise for you, and I am going to spoil that surprise at the end of this video. I just feel like it's a good time to let y'all know what I'm planning. But that's the Kinmon incident. It's a real life incident. It took place in Kyoto, and yeah, it's basically just showing you the life of Kenshin when he was the Hitokiri Batosai, when he was the assassin, and it's awesome. I mean, there's nothing more you can say on the quality of this film. Is that it's just some of the best that you'll see, and I'll get into more detail later in this video. But the movie is based around the story told in 3 volumes of the manga. Volume 19, Volume 20, and Volume 21. So it's volumes 19 through 21. And basically, this fool right here, his name's Anisi. And I've heard like 3 or 4 different pronunciations of it. I've always said Anisi, and that's pretty much what I'm going to go with. But anyway, he arrives, and I'll tell a little bit of that story in a minute, because this is all involved. And he wants revenge on Kenshin, or Jinshu, and that's where it gets its title, the Jinshu arc. And so Kenshin's trying to tell everyone, you know, Kaoru, Megumi, Sanosuke, and Yahiko, all what the heck's going on. And he tells the story of his past. So getting into that vein, we're going to talk about some new characters that were introduced. The first one is Yukishiro Tomoe, and that's Kenshin's wife. Kenshin, in the very beginning of this film, he kills this guy, and it's actually the guy who gives him the first scar. And a lot of people don't know, but even before these OVAs came, even before these issues were released, Nobuhiro Watsuki admitted that 2 scars given by 2 people. So the first one's given by this guy. He has a name, but I don't know it. He's in the movie for like 2 minutes, and even though he's in the movie and he's a very important plot character, he's not that important, if that makes sense. Probably doesn't, but we're moving on. Anyway, you find out that he is Tomoe's betrothed fiance, and that Kenshin killed him. And at first, you know, Tomoe is very upset. She's pretty pissed that Kenshin stole her happiness, and she plots to kill him. I mean, that's her plan, that she's going to kill him. And through happenstance, she gets really close to Kenshin, and thanks to another character whose name is Katsura Kogoro, who is the leader of the Ishinshishi, he tells Tomoe to be Kenshin's sheath to help him when he needs, the help. And so she gets really close to him, and she eventually really does fall in love with him, and he truly falls in love with her. And so it's very tragic when, spoiler alert, she dies. And Tomoe gives Kenshin the second scar, completing the cross-shaped scar. And if you can see behind me, the woman in the kimono beside Kenshin, that's actually Tomoe. It's not Kaoru. That is Tomoe. This is from Samurai X. So after her is Inisi Yukishira, and I was just talking about him. That is her brother, and Inisi blames Kenshin for Tomoe's death, and it's not even his fault. Basically, what's happening is Izuka is Kenshin's handler, and he's also a traitor. He's working for these ninja named the Yaminobu. My pronunciation, I know, but the Yaminobu, and he's trying to get Kenshin killed. So he tells Kenshin that Tomoe is the traitor and that she's running, and that she's going to tell where she is or where they live, and they're going to kill her. So he's like, boom, his mind's wrecked, and he goes to find her, and he has to fight all these ninja, and each ninja impairs him in a different way. Like the first is a loud explosion, so it takes out his hearing. The second is a very bright explosion, so it takes out his sight. And there's something about the area that they're in, it just naturally disorients people who aren't used to it. And he's damaged pretty heavily due to the fight. And he finally gets there, and the leader is Tatsumi, and he's like, hey, I'm going to kill you, and then the shogun is going to continue to rule, and everything's going to be happy, and we're going to get heavily rewarded because we killed the famed assassin. And so they're fighting, and Kenshin's blind, and he gives everything he has in one powerful strike. And at that moment, Tomoe jumps in front of Tatsumi and is trying to kill him, and Kenshin kills them both. And it's very sad, and things happen different from the manga and the OVA. In the OVA, she cuts him, but in the manga, like, her knife flies in the air and it scratches him on the way down. And I like the OVA's rendition better. I think it's just more powerful that she would give that scar. But I digress a little bit, not too much. So back in full force of the Shinsengumi, and you see them all in their traditional dress, and it's awesome. It's way more than just Saito, even though Saito's back. He's captain of the 3rd Shinsengumi unit, so he's going to be back, and he is, and he's hardcore as ever. But another character that they really focus on from the Shinsengumi is Okita Soji, and he's the captain of the 1st unit. And he's got tuberculosis, so he's always coughing. He's always, but I mean, he's a really good fighter, and yeah. So those are the new characters, and the old one, Saito, returns, and of course you've got Kenshin's master, Hiko. So I mean, that's pretty much it as far as the review goes. It's 10 out of 10. It's superb. The animation is some of the best animation you'll ever see in your life. It's on a different level to a lot of stuff. And I know for a fact that they use real video, like they recorded stuff and then just put it in. Because if it's not that way, then it's the best animation I've ever seen, the most realistic lifelike animation that I've ever seen. And so I think it is real, excuse me, see, tired. But anyway, I think they use real footage, because they do so in the last episode of the series. And that's one thing I want to talk about. I highly recommend that you watch the series first. Don't start with Trust and Betrayal, even though chronologically speaking, it does start with Trust and Betrayal. Don't do it, because A, there's some stuff in there, some throwbacks to the series that you'll pick up on if you've actually watched the series. But to me, the main thing is that it's much darker. It's much different than the regular series. So you kind of want to know the tone first, because if you watch Trust and Betrayal, then move on, then it's not going to be anything close to the same. So that's it. That's my review of Trust and Betrayal. 10 out of 10, like I said. Next is what I've been working on, and what I'm working on in the future is a history behind Kenshin, and it's basically a history of the Bakumatsu. It's going to be a huge video. I don't even want to guess how long it's going to be, but it's important to me that when I do this, that it's as historically accurate as possible. Not many people of y'all know this of me, but there's my degree. I do have a degree in history, and so I want it to be as factual. I'm going to have sources. It's going to be scholarly, so I've got to find scholarly sources. I don't just want it to be this video where all the information comes from Wikipedia. I'm reading a book right now by Romulus Hilber, I believe is his last name. It's about the Shinsengumi and how they were created and how they were in real life. And it's important to me to relay to you the true information. So look for that. That's going to be after everything. It's going to be after the live action movies. It's going to be the last thing that I do on Kenshin, and then we'll move on. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope you'll have a wonderful night, a wonderful weekend, and be blessed, be awesome, be kind to each other, people. Be nice. Don't hate people. Just because they might think a little bit different from you. That's not the right way to be. But anyway, adieu, God bless, and we'll see y'all in the next video. Love you guys.